all-knowing and all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle. Chapter 40. The expressions on the faces of the two of them also became more and more ugly. Looking at the current situation, not only have people not been saved, but they have to put their lives in it. On the side, the Catwoman twisted her brows and put her gaze on Chen Tian. She always felt that the other party was out of place with the panic and desperate atmosphere around her, and she always looked like she was in control. It's as if he kept it that way from the beginning, and he never felt surprised by what happened. Catwoman was really panicked in her heart, but seeing Chen Tian's calm performance, she felt an inexplicable sense of relief in her heart. You guys have 2 seconds left. Odd with all the atmosphere is the voice of the Riddler in the stereo. The more desperate, helpless and panicked the people in the exhibition hall collapsed, the more excited he appeared, and every word was full of unconcealable cheerfulness. Last second. Good night, Gotham. Until the last countdown came out of the stereo. All the previous resistance, unwillingness, angry roar, desperate struggle, hoarseness, suddenly stopped. A sense of powerlessness that was enough to devour everything instantly enveloped everyone present. Chen Tian still stood with his eyes slightly lowered, and saw that except for himself, almost everyone instinctively held their heads and squatted at the same time. And gave up the struggle in the face of this treacherous fate. Whether it's the Marvel world or the 600th world, the fate of people without power is always in the control of others. His gaze slowly turned between everyone. The people who squatted one by one, in Chen Tian's opinion, what made them squat was not the bomb laid by the Riddler, but their weakness and powerlessness. That's why I decided to become stronger, to be able to completely control my own destiny in such a world. He thought expressionlessly. Next second, the room suddenly fell into a long silence. The expected explosion did not sound, and the voice of the Riddler in the stereo disappeared. We're not dead? Is that guy doing something again? The faces of those who noticed this showed a puzzled look on their faces and stood up one after another, looking around blankly, all their hearts still hanging tightly. They already know a little about the Riddler hiding behind the stereo. The other party is completely a moody freak who regards people's lives as a game for fun. No one dares to guarantee that the other party will make such a big move tonight, just to achieve a lowly prank. Did the Riddler keep his promise? Bruce Wayne's eyes were equally puzzled. Although he only had a brief confrontation with the other party through the case and the voice, the two sides have not even met. But Bruce, with his years of experience in dealing with crime, is already sure that the Riddler is a complete maniac and must not have such good qualities. Gordon was also incredulous at everything at the moment, and looked around blankly. It's okay, it's okay. Harvey, who experienced great joy and tragedy. Dante, who was exhausted and didn't think too much, softly comforted his sister Jessica in his arms. Then, shush. There was another sound of electricity in the hall. Damn it, who are you? Get out of my head. Fuck me out of my head. When everyone's heart stiffened again, they heard a heart-rending cry. What's wrong with this guy? What happened? Everyone recognized that the owner of this voice was the Riddler just now, feeling that the other party was completely free of the previous clouds and breeze. Looks like the guy has some problems. Bruce took a deep breath. It's not yet certain if the bomb will explode, or if you have to get out of here as soon as possible. Quote. With his thoughts falling, he raised his foot again and slammed the door in front of him. Gordon and the others reacted in horror and came to his aid. Boom, boom, boom. Countless sounds of banging on the gate sounded one after another, and everyone was doing their best under the instinct to survive. And the crowd does not know. Dimly lit room in the building opposite. Edward. Nigma was on her knees, tugging at her hair, her face twisted, her eyes protruding from her screaming in pain. He felt an invisible force burrowing into his brain, causing him pain. Meanwhile, boom, with a loud noise, the originally locked door of the exhibition hall finally opened with a sound. The door is open. Let's go. Get out of this damn place. Seeing this, everyone in the hall had already abandoned other ideas and rushed towards the open door. And the screams of the Riddler in the stereo behind him still echoed in his ears. Catwoman watched more and more people escape from the venue, only felt that something was wrong, turned around and saw Chen Tian standing in the dark, and 2 fingers slowly lowered from his temple. The latter noticed her gaze and smiled at her. After everyone else left, Chen Tian and his group walked out slowly. There is a clue. My people have tracked down the source of the Riddler. Bruce Wayne said at this time. He's in the opposite building. The words fell. As soon as he received news from the butler Alfred, he was ready to leave and run to the Riddler's hiding place. No matter what happens, the Riddler must be caught, and the guy cannot be spared. No need to work hard, the Riddler himself will come down in a moment. At this time, he heard Chen Tian slowly speak. Quote. Bruce and Gordon, who had just taken 2 steps, stopped and turned back when they heard this, and looked at Chen Tian with puzzlement in their eyes. Some did not understand the meaning of the latter. Seeing that the expression on Chen Tian's face was indifferent and confident, the doubts in the two of them were even heavier. Until now, they hadn't figured out why the Riddler would give up detonating the bomb and appear to be so anguished. And apparently the teenager in front of him seems to have the truth of everything. Bruce and Gordon's lips moved, both wanting to say something. Yet the next second, boom, in the opposite building, a figure fell from the sky and landed violently with a muffled sound. Seeing this, Bruce rushed up and saw that the other party should have smashed the back of his head to the ground, the skull behind his head was broken, and minced meat, bone stubble, blood, and brain flowers were on the ground, splashing a red and white flower. He took a deep breath to wipe the face of the corpse, saw a question mark printed on it, and turned his head to look at Chen Tian in surprise. Shen said, he should be the Riddler. Quote, Chen, did you do this? Chapter 49, Selena, have you forgotten about the evening? Bruce looked at the corpse on the ground that seemed to be lifeless except for maintaining its body temperature. You did this? He turned his head to look at Chen Tian, his expression strange. Bruce felt that since the day he met each other, he had seen too many things beyond his cognitive imagination. So after seeing the scene in front of him, he immediately remembered Chen Tian. Sure enough, it's only his own lack of determination. Seeing that Chen Tian shrugged his shoulders and didn't care, he directly acquiesced to this matter. Wayne fell silent when he heard this, and his gaze became more and more complicated as he looked at the young man in front of him. In the past few years that he has been out and about, he has heard a lot of strange things, and some people can control the minds of others from a certain distance. Recalling the Riddler's cry of pain just now, everything seemed reasonable. Chen Tian not only had extraordinary strength and self-healing power, but also had this ability. Wayne realized this, and was shocked and made him more wary of Chen Tian. The other party's strength was far beyond his imagination. At this time, a large area of the nearby scene has been cordoned off by the police. The big people who were originally invited to participate in the exhibition were physically and mentally exhausted by the events just now. Some strongly demanded that they need to go back to rest, while others were still immersed in their previous fears, slumping on the ground and looking white and panicked.